Welcome in. It's Rob Bro Show with Carson Robinson today, as it is generally on Fridays. Carson, how you doing, man?
What up? What up? I'm good. I'm good.
You know,
it's always good when you get to watch college baseball all day.
That's true.
That's a good day. That's a good day.
If you didn't notice, the lighting is pretty soft in here today. I've got a paper towel hanging over my lamp that's shining on me.
See, and mine's really bright, so somewhere between our two lighting setups, we'll figure something out.
Somebody said I look spooky the other day.
Just sitting in a dungeon.
Yeah, so I got the lighting. I got the lighting softer today. Not as hard of a lighting setup.
Could be my white hat though.
All right, so we're going to the fifth inning. It's 2-0. Only 5 hits total in this game in Gainesville right now. Are you surprised how FAMU's playing with Florida right now?
Not too much because a Friday night guy, he's probably solid. You're their number one. You usually see this from a number one team. They have a good guy for, like we talk about all the time. And when you haven't seen a guy before, you don't have a whole lot of information on him. All of those things go into play, and Florida may have overlooked Florida A&M. I don't know. It's just one of those things where it plays one of two ways. The high seed shows up and just walks through it and gets a win easily, and they didn't really have to do much, or the lower seed gets just drubbed, which we've seen a little bit of today. So it either goes one of those two ways. Like Santa Clara got drubbed today, 13-3, or it's 13-3 now by Arkansas.
Well, and that game was close until, I don't know.
Arkansas broke it open.
Yeah, and then it got broken open real bad. Yeah. Santa Clara walked in 3 straight, and they just left the guy out there.
Yeah, they just let him ride.
You're trying to stay in it tomorrow.
Yeah.
You don't want to throw every guy you have in game 1 when it's 13-3 or 10-3 or whatever it was at the time. I think it's 13-4 maybe now, but tough game for them. What wasn't a tough game, or it was a tough game, but not a tough game in that remarks. Texas Tech this afternoon beating UConn. We took in the game at a local establishment. Interesting game. Let's see, Mason Molina, 10 strikeouts, 9 or 10 strikeouts.
10, yeah.
A bunch of innings, but kind of ran out of gas. And then you bring back Brandon Beckel in. He pitches 2 innings, but I think can probably go again this weekend. And then Josh Sanders gets the close. Did it go about as good as you thought it could?
I mean, as far as Mason Molina's start, it went about as good as I thought he could. I was hoping we could get through 7 with Mason Molina, but you walk the first 2 of the inning, and then you're sitting in the dugout going, all right, he's probably at the end of his rope. Let's go get Beckel in the game and see if he can't shut this thing down. Beckel didn't look great. Second pitch of the outing, throws a wild pitch, gets runners to second and third, which allows them to score 2 in that inning. And then you're like, all right, let's hold on to this thing. Throws really well in the 8th. And then Sanders comes in and shuts the door in the 9th. It kind of set up the way you wanted it to. Brandon probably wants a better outing from coming in with 2 guys on, but coming in with 2 guys on is also tough. So you are 1 pitch away from getting a ground ball, and you're 1 pitch away from giving up, a free 90 feet to 2 guys and get them in scoring position. And UConn did what they're supposed to do and get them in. So.
Yeah. And it felt like you dominated the game in some respects, but it was only 3-0 late in that game. You kind of felt like you left too many runners on the board. It ended up not mattering because you only gave up 2, but that is rough. Let's see. Your flow looks good. Thank you.
Yeah. Bro's got some salad working. That's for sure.
Let's see. Fraud alert activated. I don't know if it was so much as a fraud at UConn, but Kyle taking the L, confident about the big bats and saying no Kansas State 3-2 scenario. He did say that on the preview. And then Michael says, going 2-0, fellas. Let's ride. You're watching Caglione here. He is pitching well. Just gave up a single. So runner on, 1 out. It's 2-0 Florida, top of the 5th. If somehow FAMU can win this one, I will feel really good about tomorrow. What do you feel? I know, but it's 2-0 in the 5th.
I agree. I didn't think FAMU would have a much of a chance today. So
now you're about to go to the bullpen and you just spin the wheel on 98 mile an hour closer coming out of the game. But Florida has some arms now. And if you're just a box score watcher, Caglione could be the ace. Now he's generally the Sunday guy. He's pitched a couple of places. He is an elite bat and a pretty good arm.
Mm-hmm.
They have a bunch of guys who just throw hard. And in college baseball, that's an ace. So you really have 3 aces.
Yeah, throw hard, throw a good fastball. We've talked about that a little bit. Have a good fastball. Have a 2-pitch. You don't even have to have a change. It doesn't have to be a slider or a curveball. It can be a changeup. If you throw 101 like Caglione does, like he just throws a 97 mile per hour fastball at the knees, and the guy swings through it for strike 3, ends the inning. But
94 off speed.
Yeah. I mean, his slider is 90, 92. So good luck hitting that. Even if you don't throw it in the zone enough, guys like Florida A&M, they're not seeing 98. They're not seeing 90 most of the year. They're seeing upper 80s in the SWAC conference. Like there's not a whole lot of dudes in the SWAC throwing 95. It's just not.
Now, eventually FAMU will run out of pitching.
Yes.
I don't think you'll be playing them tomorrow.
No.
What you really need is for them to bounce Caglione in this next inning in the 6th. He's through 78 pitches, 79 pitches.
Yep.
But you need somebody else to throw today. You can't have a complete game, 115 pitch, because he's done anyways today.
Yeah.
You're not going to see him again.
But you see him at first base the rest of the regional.
If he throws 120 pitches and just lays out and saves their bullpen, it's going to be a tough road to hoe tomorrow for Texas Tech. Let's go back to that UConn game a little bit. Dylan Carter struggling. Vuletic playing well. You have to see him in right field tomorrow, yes? And Maxey will probably catch Hudson White DH. Dylan Carter right behind.
Yeah, I think, and depending on what Florida throws at you, righty or lefty, I think both the guys they have now are righties left. And so, and I think you'll get the righty tomorrow. But
I don't think it matters.
No, and I think Dylan has not looked great in the Dylan Carter that we saw pre-injury versus the Dylan Carter we've seen after the injury is 2 totally different people. And we've seen a little bit of that old DC that he was early in the year come out. You saw that a little bit in the Big 12 tournament, a couple of bats, but other than that, it just hasn't been great for Dylan Carter. And I think you have to see Maxey behind the plate. Hudson White probably DHs. Vuletic is in right field. Yeah, like you said, bro. I don't see. Man, I just don't know that you can keep a guy in the lineup that just doesn't give you anything offensively. It's just tough. And I said the same thing last year, and look what you did in the regional in Statesboro last year. You scored 2 runs, 3 runs, and 1 run. That's it. That's what got you beat because you couldn't score runs. You left countless numbers of guys on base in scoring position last year in Statesboro, where you had chances to win those ball games. The pitching staff put you in positions to win ball games, and you couldn't get it done because you can't score runs. And you've got to have guys, you got to have dudes at the plate who can put the bat on the ball, especially when you're going to see 98 to 100 for the this foreseeable future in this regional.
Yeah, and Dylan Carter, if he was having good at bats and just not producing, I think that would be one thing. But he's having Josh Hamilton, day game, caffeine at bats.
Like swinging at air, basically, is what it is, And I hate to be that guy.
Well, it's just true.
It's tough. I mean, I was a pitcher in college because I couldn't hit, so.
I didn't play, but I
Let
can
me be honest.
I can watch baseball and see a guy slinging through a frisbee in the dirt.
Yeah.
Like he's
So
throwing bouncing balls and
yeah,
the guy's swinging over the top of him. It's not a good at bat. And
Yeah.
he's capable.
That's right. He's
100%
capable. We've
he's
seen it.
capable of it.
Yeah.
Because even when he struggled last year, it felt like he was putting together something. And right now it just doesn't feel that way. So Vuletic, who just hits on the screws every single time, even in his outs, has to be in the lineup. And I wouldn't take Hudson White out of the lineup. So you've seen this lineup a couple of times down the stretch where Maxey catches, and then you'll have Hudson White DH, and then you put good old boy Vuletic in right field, old tight pants Vu.
Yeah. And Big Hen said he needs a Huddy homer like he needs air to breathe. I agree. 1000% agree with that. And Hudson White, defensively, don't know that he's the best catcher that you'll see. Offensively, he gives you what you need offensively. I think Dylan Maxey, and of course, we gave Maxey a hard time the last time we had the show because of all the cross ups him and who was pitching that day, Tabor Fast, had at the beginning of that game in the Big 12 tournament. But I think, Hudson White either DHing or, we've seen him play in the field in areas. I don't know that Will Burns or
Tracer Lopez.
Tracer. Thank you. There's so many weird names now.
We didn't even mention Will Burns playing at shortstop today.
Right. Yeah, that was a weird thing. Not seeing Tracer Lopez in there was kind of different for me. I expected Tracer Lopez to be in the starting lineup, but
I think we all did. Yeah.
And it's one of those deals where neither Burns or Lopez has just been amazing at the plate or at shortstop this year. They both had their really, really great moments, and they both had their that's a new guy moment. So
certainly defensively.
Yeah, defensively especially. So it'll be interesting to see who you see out there tomorrow. I think Tracer will be, because what Burns go 0 for today?
No, he had a hit in his first at bat.
Oh yeah, he did have a hit in his first at bat. That's right. Everybody seemed like they had a hit in their first at bat, and then everybody stopped.
Yeah, he went pretty
getting hits. But yeah,
a full bag of charcoal is floating down the river in my alley here. That is pretty impressive.
Just that water rain. You got that first level apartment living right there, bud.
I'm on the first floor, but there is a Nile River going. I'm on like the side here. That is impressive. That is there's got to be some charcoal in that thing, and it is just floating down in this river. It is moving too.
Well, if anybody's on this, and if you went to Texas Tech and you live down by campus, you know how bad the flooding gets here in Lubbock.
Oh yeah,
it's horrendous, and it's just as bad in some places. But if you get caught down by University after it's rained like this it has today in Lubbock, then good luck. Unless you got a big truck.
It's better than it was like in 2007. You know where it's bad? Midland.
Yeah, that's bad. Yeah.
If it rains in Midland, it's only for about an hour and a half, but you are swimming.
yeah, there's no drainage system.
No.
None whatsoever. Yeah. Looking at I think that you'll see Hurston Waldrop tomorrow, but it could be Brandon Sproat, who either one of those two guys. Sproat throws 100 miles an hour too. So
yeah,
he can throw. He's throwing against Georgia early in the year. I think I told you this. He's throwing against Georgia early in the year, and he's throwing in the 7th inning. He's giving up 1 hit, struck out 14 or something in the 7th, and he's still throwing 101. Yeah. 101 in the 7th of a start.
And the deal about that is, with this team, I would almost rather have a guy go up there who's throwing strikes and throwing hard, because you can run into a couple of those.
Yeah, he supplies everything for you.
Now, on the broadcast today, driving in to where we watched the game, Haxton said the wind was blowing in, which is rare in Gainesville. So I wonder if the wind will be blowing out tomorrow afternoon, hopefully, because I think it was the storms were weird today, and they were moving south, and so the wind was blowing north. So I wonder if you'll have some action there wind-wise to make this park play a little bigger Of course, we saw earlier that Florida does not need a big park or a small park or whatever else. They'll just hit them out when they hit them out.
No, and the dude who's on the mound tonight, Jack Caglione, he's the leading home run hitter in all of college baseball right now too. So
Yeah, with 28.
Yeah, 28 bombs. I saw him hit one the other night in the SEC tournament. It was just an absolute tater. It got lost in the woods in Alabama.
All right, bases juiced.
1 out.
Florida, 1 out.
Yeah. And guess who's at the plate? He can help his own self out here. It's a grand slam right here.
On a grand slam for Caglione.
It's perfect timing for it, right? Like if he hits a grand slam right here, he probably gets to go 9 tonight, right? Like he gets to pitch as many innings as he wants to. He just tells Kevin O'Sullivan and company, like, hey, never mind, ground ball double play, inning ender. Never mind, didn't hit a grand slam.
You're ahead of me. Yeah, there it is.
Tailor made. What a big pitch.
That was
against one of the best hitters in the country.
And he's at 77 through 5. He's pumped up.
Yeah. How about
hey, get some runs, FAMU.
Yeah, let's go, Rattlers.
He's only given up 4 hits. One of them just left the park.
Yeah, Ryan Bradley said it in the chat. The more arms they have to use today, the better. And of course, I would love to see FAMU put up a run. I think if you put up a run right here, that kind of forces Florida's hand and makes him go to the bullpen. I don't know that they bring out stud guy out of the bullpen, but in a 2-1 game, you can't afford to lose the first one. That's all I'm saying.
Hyatt, who is looking at the forecast, says the forecast for tomorrow's game time shows nearly exactly the same as today. Northeast winds under 2 miles an hour.
Yeah, so it's not going to have much effect on the game anyway, on the ball anyway. Just humid as crap.
Yeah, mid-80s, humid as hell, he says.
Pretty much like Lubbock today. Yeah, that's fair.
70s.
That's fair.
Under 10, not under 2, but still.
Yeah. Still
not a strong breeze like Lubbock, Texas.
Yeah.
Of course, today wasn't bad at all.
No, it got a little cool once the weather hit, though. I'll tell you that much.
About 4:30, it was a little different. And they're playing soccer tonight out at Cooper Pirate Field.
Oh, are they still playing?
Yeah, it's easy to reschedule 1 game. It's really hard to reschedule 2 games.
That's fair.
So I think but the weather should be out of Lubbock before 7:30.
Yeah, that's fair.
Should be. Let's take a look at the scores here as we welcome Tiffany in there. Let's see. The Lexington Regional, Kentucky winning today 4-0 over Ball State. Indiana, West Virginia gets started in about 8 minutes. Virginia over Army 15-1. Oklahoma will start in about 8 minutes. Oregon coming back and beating Xavier 5-4. That game 2 is at 7:00 tonight. Oral Roberts, Oklahoma State about to start. Washington beat DBU earlier today. How good did that feel for you?
Pretty good.
Love watching Dallas Baptist lose.
Yes, yeah. It's not a bad day when you can watch DBU lose. That's for sure.
Clemson 12, Lipscomb 5. That was a game that kind of got out of hand late for Clemson. Yeah. Seemed like a struggle there for a minute. I think Lipscomb even led that one early. Tennessee over Charlotte, top 2. Did you see Charlotte's uniforms?
I did not. Are they all green and just nasty? Or are they like a gold?
They're all white with green on the front. It says CLT. And it is about this big, CLT.
Oof.
Charlotte. How'd you like a Texas Tech uniform that just says LBB?
Nope. I'm out.
The airport.
Not a chance. I was just about to say, are we going airport codes for our uniforms now? Like, that'd be the day, right? Of course, Samford, who took a 2-1 lead over Southern Miss. What did that one end? Did you say that final?
No, not yet.
It was 1-1 in the 10th. Top of the 10th, Samford hits a home run. Their uniforms, they're not terrible. They're not as gaudy, but they just says Sam across the front.
Yeah.
Like, couldn't afford the FORD.
Not quite as softball-y as these FAMU uniforms.
Yeah, those are, we're talking about a swag, so you got to have a little swag. SWAC team has a little swag. You're always going to get a little something different.
You like the dark pants?
No, I do not. unless it's like a City Connect jersey and you're only going to wear it a few times a year. But I guarantee you they've worn this a lot this year.
Oh yeah.
But
Northeastern losing to Maryland 7-2. That's in the Winston-Salem. George Mason and Wake Forest will tip off. First pitch here in a couple minutes. The Campbell Camels upset by NC State. A lot of people picking Camels to win this Columbia Regional. This is the one going across from you, South Carolina. Pretty big upset there. NC State not expected to do much damage. Campbell Camels, number 12 in the country, just couldn't get their offense going. They couldn't get the running game going. They couldn't get the power game going.
Well, and you have 10 hits, but get one run. Like you scatter 10 hits.
That's what I'm saying. You just never could get anything going with runners on base.
And Campbell's a team that just missed as being a top 16 national seed. I mean, just on the outside. It was either Campbell or Indiana State. And the Sycamores got the bid, and Campbell ended up having to go to one of the tougher regionals, I thought, in all of the regional picks. The Columbia Regional is really tough. I mean, South Carolina's good. You can never count out NC State. If it wasn't for COVID testing at the College World Series a few years ago, NC State wins the College World Series, not Mississippi State, or whichever year that was that they won it. But Campbell is a very, very talented baseball team. They've got dudes on that team, and that's a big win for NC State.
They got hosed a couple of times in different sports.
Yeah.
Duke 12, UNC Wilmington 3. That's in the Conway, Coastal Carolina Regional. They're about to start their second game. Indiana State beating Wright State 6-5. North Carolina, Iowa in the top of the first. And then, as you mentioned, Samford beating Southern Miss with a walk-off home run.
It was a go-ahead. It was a go-ahead
home run in the top of the 10th.
Yeah.
Southern Miss could not score in the bottom. And then Arkansas putting it on Santa Clara 13-6. TCU, Arizona, first pitch in Fayetteville at 8 p.m. tonight.
I'm excited about that one. That's one that I've had on the old radar ever since the matchups came out. And Arizona's a good ball club. Another team that from the Pac-12 that's got good arms. They've got pedigree going to the World Series. They've got pedigree winning a national title a few years back. So, and what TCU team are you going to get? Are you going to get the TCU team that played in the Big 12 tournament, or that scores a bajillion runs and pitches pretty well? Or are you going to get the TCU team that can't find their rear end from their face, or it's buried in it? So that's the question.
Again, defensively, offensively, pitching, what are you going to see from TCU? Their bullpen has been really good or really bad. Their defense has been really good or really bad. Their offense has been really good or pretty good. I mean, their offense has been decent all year, but they've had trouble putting it together. But I'll tell you, they've put it together this last month. They are probably the hottest team in the Big 12.
I agree. Baseball coaches talk all the time about playing your best baseball, playing your most consistent baseball at the right time, because baseball is that sport where it's day in and day out. You can be really bad today and look completely different tomorrow. And then the next day it's like the manager's sitting in the dugout going, oh crap, which team am I going to get today? Like, that's this sport. And if you can be consistent and you can do the little things the consistent way, throwing strikes is a big one. Obviously it's the little, the common sayings, but for TCU, if they can be as consistent as they have been in the last month, I think they have a chance to go to Omaha. Like, they have the team to do it. And in this Fayetteville regional, though, Arkansas is very, very tough. Dave Van Horn is a great coach, and he's always got Arkansas ready, and it's in Fayetteville, obviously, but they've got a tough test tonight in Arizona. Arizona's really well coached as well, and it'll be interesting to see how that works for the Horned Frogs.
A couple of more regionals here. Troy at Boston College, that's 3-3, top of the fifth. In the Tuscaloosa regional, Nichols, Alabama will go off tonight. Supposed to be at 6, but this says top of the fifth, so they're not going to start at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, no.
Can't play two games at once. LSU beating Tulane 7-2 earlier today. Sam Houston, Oregon State tonight in the Baton Rouge regional. Texas beating Louisiana, and that game was tight for most of the game. The Ragin' Cajuns could not get it done. Maine, Miami, first pitch in a couple of minutes. And then Stanford, bottom of the fifth, beating San Jose State 7-2. And Park, who had a bunch of home runs in last year's regional, has a leadoff home run today. And they were talking about this game on Squeeze Play, Rooney.
Mm-hmm.
And he was not very high on their pitching.
On Stanford's pitching?
No, they have a good lineup, but
yeah,
everyone was concerned about them pitching backwards or not pitching backwards because they were throwing their ace today against the 4 seed. And he was like, hey, ace 3, 2, 4, it's all the same guy. Their lineup is what's going to win the regional. So
yeah, and what
do they pitch?
In that regional, I think Texas A&M is the best team. I truly believe that Texas A&M is the best team in the Stanford regional. I think they'll blow Cal State Fullerton away. Cal State Fullerton, you want to talk about pitching, they have none of it. What's funny is you look at Cal State Fullerton's schedule, and I think they lose 2 out of 3 to Tulane early in the year. Tulane was awful, by the way. For you K-State fans who were upset about not making it in the tournament, Tulane had a lot to do with that because they took a bid from you. Granted, I think K-State should have gotten in over Oklahoma. We won't get into that. I'm sure you and Kyle addressed that as you needed to the other night. But Texas A&M is a very good team, and I would hate to be Stanford and Cal State Fullerton and San Jose State in that regional because Texas A&M's got pitching. They've got offense. They're an SEC pedigreed school. And for those that don't like to hear it, the SEC is the best baseball conference in America, and it's not even close. And I think A&M is the best overall ball club in that region. I mean, A&M took 2 out of 3 against Florida, against the number 2 national seed this year. It was at Bluebell Park, but still. And I watched that series, and A&M was the better team that weekend. And that was kind of the Aggies needed to win that series to give themselves a chance to get into a regional. And then they do well at the SEC tournament in Hoover, and they're in a regional, and they got a really good bid, I think, even though they had to go to Stanford to play 3 California teams, which was kind of weird.
All right, so you're in this Gainesville regional. If you could have been in a different regional, which one would you have wanted to go to? I'm really looking at that Stanford regional. If you were there instead of Texas A&M, I would have really liked that draw. You've been there already this year. Stanford doesn't scare me. I would have really liked those matchups. Otherwise,
Terre Haute. I'd love to go to Terre Haute, Indiana. Indiana State is not good enough to be a national seed. They should have gotten beat today, 6-5.
Hold on, I've got something to say.
Do you?
You were talking about it earlier. Everyone complaining about Lexington and how they're staying in dorm rooms. It's a business trip. What do you want them to stay at the Hilton? Like, they're down there to play baseball. What do they do? What do they do all year? They stay in dorms and play baseball.
I mean, even in single A, we stayed at
going
Hilton's.
down. Oh, come on.
I'm just saying.
Not for
you're not staying in dorm rooms.
Not for $90 a day.
Did you see the pictures of the dorm rooms they're having them stay in? Like, West Virginia is staying in the freshman dorm.
Who cares?
It's horrendous.
You're there to play baseball.
Nah, you make it to the postseason. It should be better than that.
Whatever. David Collier says hi.
Collier, what's up, man? Saw Collier back on TV the other night.
Yeah, he's back on TV.
Yeah.
He enjoys it. I heard him talking the other day. He really, really loves it.
Does he?
Yeah. Did you get Collier on the Rob Bro Show?
That's a fact. Florida A&M still hanging in there, man. Of course, they got a side armor in the bullpen. I don't know how well that's going to go against Florida. And their left-handed hitters, like, I was a sidearm guy. I never liked facing power hitting left-handers. There's a couple guys that have a couple balls that are still flying.
He's through 87 pitches, 1 out in the 6th.
Just backdoor to breaking ball in for strike 3 too. See you later.
Call on it.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I like the glove. The glove the pitcher's got.
The green glove.
Yeah, that one is it's got some sauce to it. I like it.
Collier says I love it. I know you do call. That's what I
Oh
said.
yeah.
I say he loves it.
Well, that's what in his Twitter handle, and even whenever you stop doing it for a little while, Collier on TV. I mean,
Well, he's the
the
best.
guy's just built for TV.
He's the GOAT.
Yeah, it's a fact. The GOAT of Lubbock. And the
No,
other regional, you're talking about regionals, Rob. Lexington, that regional, other than the stay situation,
your
Kentucky
bougie-
does not scare me.
No, that would have been a good one to go to.
They've got some bats in the middle of that order. They're pretty good, but Kentucky does not scare me pitching wise. No, we could have flip flopped with West Virginia and been just fine. Because I don't care if West Virginia wins or not.
That game has started, by the way. Indiana, West Virginia, top of the first.
Yeah, West Virginia should wipe the floor with them. Who'd West Virginia start tonight? Does it say? I would assume it's no, it doesn't say. Of course, mine hadn't updated yet either.
Traxel,
yeah, that's what I was thinking. I knew it was a ex-MLB guy's name.
So they're starting the ace.
Yeah, why wouldn't you? I mean, like we said, we've talked about it. I mean, Texas Tech started their ace today. Florida has really kind of just three aces. They've gone back and forth between their three guys that we talked about. I mean,
well, the 1-4 is different than the 2-3, though.
Yeah, but that's true, especially FAMU. There's some four seeds that are pretty salty. I mean, Wright State was a pretty daggum good 4 seed. They weren't bad.
Yeah, but there's some 4 seeds that are plus 500 in a regional.
Yeah,
and FAMU is plus 6,000.
That's fair.
Which is the longest odds for a 4 seed in a regional.
Yeah, FAMU is not going to win this regional. Who was it? There was a SWAC team a few years back. Got to a regional championship game at Florida State, I want to say, somewhere like that. I can't remember who it was, Grambling or Southern, somebody. Anyways, yeah, Caglione, Sproat, and Waldrop, all three of those guys. I mean, their ERAs are almost exactly identical if you look at it. Their whips almost exactly identical, other than Sproat. His is a little bit lower than Caglione and Waldrop's. Those are both at 1.40. Well, all of them throw an absolute cheddar. They all are 6-3 or 7-3. They're pretty much all exactly the same, other than Caglione's left-handed. Like, that's about it, right?
And Caglione rakes.
Yeah, he does. I don't know that Brandon Sproat can rake as well as Caglione can at the plate.
Nobody can.
You name me, like, how do you not name him the Golden Spikes Award winner, right?
Or what's the two-way player?
I can't remember. Shohei Ohtani Award? I don't know.
No.
He didn't play college baseball. I don't care.
No, not here. No.
I don't think he played in Japan either. I don't think so. You go to baseball school, and then he was I think he was playing in the NPL before he was even
at 16. They called
17 years old. Well, did you see? There's a 16-year-old in single A. Got him.
PFP.
2-0 going to the 7th. Wow.
PFP there. All right,
maybe should have laid a little action on this bad boy.
I wonder what the spread was.
It had to have been Florida, at least -5.
They usually just do the 1.5 line
for these games
for college baseball.
Yeah,
it's usually just 1.5, and then you get a certain total on it. But it was probably a big number. Texas Tech closed at -200, right under -200.
They closed to win the regional or to get to Omaha?
No. Just against UConn.
Oh, against UConn.
Texas Tech.
Oh.
Yeah. No, Tech's not -200 to get through this one.
Like, what are you talking about?
Maybe +50, I think is what it was.
The guys in Vegas must be big Red Raider fans.
No,
they're going -200.
I think Florida was a minus team in the regional.
Yeah.
And then Texas Tech was plus around 250. Shout out to Josh Dill commenting.
Yeah, I mean, the regionals that you look at right now, obviously the one, Texas and Louisiana. I mean, Louisiana could very easily I don't know what they have pitching left. And by the way, shout out to Max Marshak. He's a Louisiana Cajun, Raging Cajun now.
Yeah, he's got 10 bombs this year.
Yeah, one of the best players on that team. One of the best players in the Sun Belt or in the Sun Belt Fun Belt this year. It was fun to watch him play a little bit for the Raging Cajuns. But what a great ballpark they got too in Lafayette. Too bad they're not hosting. But yeah, I think, Texas has a good chance to get out of that Coral Gable. I don't think Miami's that good. Texas has been playing really well, obviously. They were the Big 12 tie for the regular season championship. Louisiana's a good ball club. That was a fun game to watch earlier today. Going to the bullpen, Ryan Slater. I did not expect them to bring this kid in.
9-0.
Yeah.
48 in the third innings, 3.72 ERA.
Well, yeah, you're talking about one of their better. He's their guy. He's got 21 appearances and 2 starts on the season. He's one of their top dudes.
They've got 3 top dudes out of the bullpen.
Yeah, I don't want to see Brandon Neely tomorrow. If you're seeing Brandon Neely tomorrow, you're screwed.
He's the guy.
Yeah. Dude is almost unhittable. A 1.29 ERA or a 4.08 ERA on the season, but he's also struck out 57 hitters and just 16 walks. And he throws Chet.
If they throw just 2 pitchers tomorrow, can you win? I would say.
How many pitchers are you throwing tomorrow? And who are you throwing tomorrow?
I think K-Rob will get the start. What do you think?
I'd give him the start.
I mean, who else? Zane Petty? What was that? He's been good.
In Arlington last week, was he good?
Well,
was he?
He recovered.
I mean,
yes, he was because
he started on Saturday. I mean, he threw Saturday last week. So if you're gonna go with the same, amount of days rest and rotations and all of these things, I don't know. Do you try and, of course, none of those guys can go 9 that we just listed. Like you're hoping to get a good 5.
Nobody
or
can.
6.
Well, you don't really stretch out any of your starters to go 9.
Yeah, Mason's the only guy who has stretched out a little bit this year, and I don't think he won a complete game at all.
No, I don't.
Did he have one CG this year?
Did he?
Well, against Kansas, he threw really well. And then you bring him out in the 7th or the 8th.
Ran out of steam today.
Yeah, ran out of juice today. 10 strikeouts, struck out 13 against Kansas that night too.
He was amazing, but
he's been really, really dominant in his last 3 starts.
He has.
And and for a kid that doesn't throw, Florida A&M's not going to get a run. For a kid that doesn't throw hard, doesn't throw, you see college guys now like Caglione, left-hander, throwing 102 miles an hour, 99 miles an hour. Mason tops out at 90, but he places the ball, he starts, he gets ahead, and he's got good breaking stuff and a good changeup that keeps hitters off balance. I think that's the difference for him. Sometimes you don't have to. I mean, Tom Glavine made a career out of this, and Jamie Moyer and guys like that have been good left-handed pitchers that didn't throw hard. I mean, 90 is still hard. I couldn't throw 90, but
it's just not 102.
Right. Yeah. It's just, it looks a lot. 102 looks a lot different than 90. Let me just say that.
Yeah.
It looks a lot different. 102, you can't see.
Speaking of 102.
Yeah, go for it.
Speaking of 102, what?
I was going to say the Tennessee kid from last year. Now I just lost his name. Pitched at Tennessee last year, threw 105. Yeah. Comes out first pitch in the major leagues for the Angels. Throws 102 miles an hour, 3 straight fastballs, strike 3. 3 straight in his first major league hitter against the White Sox the other night. Yeah, that was crazy.
If you're Florida here, do you just pitch Slater 3 innings? Burn him for the weekend?
Unless you get 6-7 runs right here, then you don't.
True.
Or you throw him this inning, you throw, somebody else next inning. I mean, you got plenty of guys that could come out of this bullpen. You can let Neely throw an inning. You got Cade Fisher that could throw an inning. Phillip Abner that could throw an inning. Nesbitt can throw an inning. I mean,
the problem is
so many guys.
If you bring out Neely and he walks the first two and has to throw 30 to get through the inning, he can't pitch tomorrow.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you're bringing in FAMU's bringing in a kid in his 41st appearance of the season.
Oh, this guy throws like you.
Yeah. Let's see what his fastball is.
He's got that K-Rob. Oh, come on, man! It's your 41st appearance. You know you can't wear that.
Yeah, I don't know why he's got that, and he's got a glove that has an open web to it too. That's interesting.
It's comfortable, man.
It is FAMU's an HBCU school. There's a lot of white dudes on this team.
Yeah.
just throwing that out there.
Yeah. This
who
ballpark
is swag.
This ballpark is full. I was wondering how full it would be today. That berm makes me so jealous.
Yeah, 83.
I want a berm in Lubbock.
Yeah, berm would be nice, right?
Is that what you threw? 83?
Maybe a little bit touch over that, but yeah. On a good day.
On a good day.
See what is all whenever you throw like this, when you throw submarine sidearm like that, it's all about the movement you get on it. It's not about how fast you throw it. It's about the movement. Little frisbee slider right there that kind of rises in the zone. That'll get you to pop up everything. It's my favorite pitch right there to power hitters.
It's the motion in the zone, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's you've got to get them to swing through things, and you got to locate. If you can't locate, you're going to get just batted around in the lineup, and you're never going to have any success.
You can't throw 84 dead center.
No, not going to happen without movement. And
Yeah.
whenever you throw down there, you're going to have some sort of movement. Like that's a pretty good 1-2 pitch right there. Slider that misses out and over the plate, starts over the plate and then misses outside. But
have you seen the conversation in college softball to rotate the College World Series?
that would be the dumbest thing they would ever do.
Is there another college softball facility or softball facility period that rivals even close to what they have in Oklahoma City?
Not even close. Not even close. And ASA Hall of Fame Stadium, now that they've built onto it, I think they can get a capacity crowd of 17, 18,000, I think, in there somewhere close. They had 12,000 there for the first game of the weekend of the College World Series or the first game that Oklahoma played. Oklahoma plays Stanford, and they had 12,800. It was like the third largest crowd in Women's College World Series history on the first day. So, yeah. And then last year, one of the best.
Are you seeing these pitch counts?
Yeah, I'm seeing them.
This guy pitched over 10 pitches, had one day where he pitched 39 and 16 in the same day.
I've been there, done that. Yeah, I threw in a doubleheader one day in college. Yeah,
I guess when you're throwing softball style.
Yeah,
less strength in the arm.
So you have Tommy John twice.
Anyways, what were you saying about 12,000 in Oklahoma City?
Yeah, I mean that was a really cool atmosphere, and then it was a 2-0 ball game. Stanford's freshman pitcher handled it really well, but if you can get another Oklahoma State Bedlam Women's College World Series, you'll get 16,000 people in that place. Like last year during the Women's College World Series final, wasn't it Oklahoma and Oklahoma State?
Well, and that's what people are complaining about. It's that Oklahoma and Oklahoma State get an unfair advantage. But, I mean, if Creighton...
Okay, then how is Creighton not in the World Series every year? Give me a freaking break.
You have to get there, first of all.
Yeah.
And if Creighton was good at baseball, you wouldn't want to change from Omaha.
Yeah, and here's the thing.
What it is.
I went and played in the NAI too, and Lewis and Clark State gets an automatic bid. They're the host every single year from Lewiston, Idaho. Lewis and Clark State used to be really good in baseball. They weren't great towards the end of my college days. I think that ever since LCU and a lot of those schools have gotten out and gone to NCAA Division II, now Lewis and Clark has gotten better, but nobody cares that they get an automatic bid because in the NAI, whoever hosts the World Series gets an automatic bid regardless. And it's a great ballpark, great setting. Their fans, we play in the national championship 2 times while I'm there, win one, lose one. And there's 7,000-8,000 people there. And Lewis and Clark State's nowhere to be found. Like they lost 2 in barbecue in those 2 years. Gone.
Right.
See ya. But those people love college baseball and they pack the stadium and the atmosphere is spectacular. And Omaha's the same way. Oklahoma City's the same way. Oklahoma and Oklahoma State could not be there and they would still get great crowds. Like that's what the NCAA wants. And why wouldn't you want Oklahoma and Oklahoma State to be good? It's not, they don't play their home games there. Neither one of them. They don't even play any games in ASA Hall of Fame Stadium until the Big 12 tournament. And the Big 12 is the only tournament that is not hosted at a school site. So that's a big draw for the Big 12 conference, just softball in general.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't want to hear any of this stuff. I mean, Patty Gasso has built an absolute just dynasty in Norman because of having good players after good player after good player. It's not because ASA Hall of Fame Stadium is 40 minutes up the road. Right. Like that has nothing to do with it.
And again,
they don't play at ASA Hall of Fame Stadium. Yeah.
Yeah. You have to win in the regional. You have to get there. Like it's not, you don't get a free pass just because it's close.
They don't. Oklahoma State was not good in softball until this new guy showed up, and now they've all of a sudden turned everything around. They're building a brand spanking new stadium. That's going to be the best, probably one of the best, if not the best, premier college softball stadiums in the country that they'll have in Stillwater. It's going to be like a mini Kelly Obrate, and I think Obrate is one of the best stadiums in the country as well. But
I would love to make it over there.
Yeah, that stadium looks fantastic. But
it does.
Yeah, and of course this new stadium, Condren Ballpark at Florida, is far outright, outdoes their shortstop just ran into the umpire. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Shortstop just
that went flying.
We're talking like his glasses broke and everything.
Just it's 2 pairs of glasses.
Oh, okay. No, it looked like his Oakley snapped.
They did.
How about that?
That was hilarious.
Umpire. Oh, yeah. Watch this slow-mo replay. Just smoked him.
That's went flying. That's great streaming there. Nobody can see it.
Nobody, unless you're watching the Florida and Florida A&M game.
All right. Haley says Tech's going to sweep. What are your thoughts on the rest of this regional as we start to wrap up here?
If Josh Rivera's hurt, that's their shortstop, by the way. If Josh Rivera's hurt from running in the umpire, I like it a lot more.
He's fine.
He's fine.
He's back.
And Florida's a really good baseball team.
Yep.
Sproat is probably going to pitch tomorrow, or Waldrop. I don't really care who it is. Feel the same way. They're both really good. I don't know that Tech sweeps. I think the only way you can possibly sweep, obviously, is to get 5 innings out of whoever starts tomorrow, and you've got to have a lead when they leave. If you can do that, and then Free and Sanders and Rogers and Beckel or whoever, if Beckel can throw again, I don't know how many pitches. I can't remember how many pitches he threw today. Probably at least 40. If you can do that, then I feel pretty good about where you're at in a double elimination tournament, somebody having to beat you twice to go to a super regional. So, but it comes down to pitching for me. The offense just is what it is. You're going to get it some days. You're not going to get it some days. But we talked about, last year in the Statesboro regional, that's what got you beat. Wasn't pitching that got you beat. It was offensively that got you beat last year in Statesboro. So the offense is,
by the way,
31. 30. Okay. Yeah. So he can come back tomorrow. If not tomorrow, he can come back the next day.
Yeah.
And Sunday and pitch. So not real worried about it, but you've got to be able to get a good start, and you've got to be able, and I've seen it where people have jumped on Sproat early. People have jumped on Waldrop early. South Carolina, great example in the South Carolina series at South Carolina. Sproat pitches, starts, gives up 2 runs in the first. In the second, South Carolina scores 7. and they're taking till they get a strike. They're having really patient, calm at bats, seeing pitches. Caglione, or no, he's out of the game. That's right. Neely's in right now. But
no, it's is it Neely?
No, it wasn't Neely. You're right. We were talking about Neely.
Yeah.
Anyways, but if you can get into Florida's bullpen early, I think that bodes well for you. You've got to be able just to see pitches, climb that pitch count up, man. You've got to climb that pitch count up. That's the only way I think you have a chance tomorrow. Florida's just a really good ball club, and you're going to have to play the best baseball you've played all year. You got to play like you did the first 2 games of the Oklahoma State series.
Final record for the weekend, Texas Tech is
2-2.
That's what I would say.
Yeah.
I think you win another one. Don't know against 2. You can beat UConn again, especially on pitcher 3 or 4 of theirs. I like your chances on – I like Zane Petty and whoever else in game 3 if you have to play UConn again, especially after they have to play again. Your third pitcher is better than their third pitcher. And one of their starters is out with mono. The guy you were supposed to see today, the 6 ERA lefty, out with mono in the dugout, but out with mono.
Mono in the dugout?
Yeah. I guess he's past the stage. I don't know how mono works, but I guess he's past the
So Tejeda was supposed to start today? Or you mean UConn starter?
UConn.
Okay.
UConn.
Looking at Florida, I'm like, I didn't know.
No.
Okay,
UConn.
yeah. I was thinking Florida, and then, but yeah, Walter or Slater is the one that's in now for Florida. He's only thrown 13. Haley said so.
Yeah. All right. Final thoughts?
Wreck them tomorrow. I mean, you got to pitch well tomorrow. Just it comes down to pitching in my book. Runs will come. You just got to pitch it well. If you give up 5 or 6, I don't think you have a chance.
6, so 7's the number?
Yeah, 7's the number.
Or I guess 6 is the number. If you give up 5 or 6, you lose.
Yeah. If you give up, I think if you give up more than 5, if you gave me an over/under at 5.5, I'd take the over.
Okay. What about 9.5 total?
9.5 total.
Hey, Florida scores 2 today so far.
Yeah. That would just makes me feel even more like they're going to come unglued tomorrow and start parking balls.
So you'll take the under?
Yeah, I'll take the under. Sure, give it to me.
I feel like you think Tech's going to lose 6-3.
6-2, 6-1.
6-2. Okay, all right. I'm in for that.
You got to love my confidence, right? But
yeah, I'm in for that.
I've watched Florida play a lot this year.
Yeah. All right, that's all I got too. This was the Rob Bro Show with Carson Robinson. You can smash that like button, subscribe on YouTube. Comment below what you think Texas Tech will do tomorrow and the rest of the weekend. I'll give it 2-2. Carson gave it 2-2. I don't think they'll win this regional, but you won game 1, so anything can happen.
Didn't think they'd win in Coral Gables in 2013 or whatever year that was either. In
14,
went to the World Series. So
you got a host.
Yep. Last time you're in a regional in Florida, you went to the World Series.
That's true. All right. That's all I got.
Peace.